Hello. Thanks for being here. Today, I've got a bunch of things. Yeah, I've been back to the basement, of course, and I found things, lots of things. First, I would like to talk about this. Indeed. Commodore Amiga, authorized dealer. Cardboard sign would sit. Oh, the back has never been done. Would sit somewhere in a dealer, in a store, you know, and it would show that you were a real dealer, because there were a lot of people who were not real dealers. When I was in the United States, remember in the area where we were, there were two people. They claimed to be, you know, really helpful Commodore places. One was a service center. The other was just a scammer. He was the one who would tell people the only way you could possibly put a hard drive in an Amiga was to get a bridge card and put it on the IBM side. I don't know how many times after he had gone away and closed did we get people in who needed help with an Amiga 2000, with a bridge card, with a hard drive on the bridge, on the IBM side, and they were told that's the only way. There's no other way. Not possible. I don't know how he hid the fact that, you know, Amiga had this thing called an Amiga 2000 HD, which stood for, wait for it, hard drive, or 2500, which didn't have the HD on it, but had a hard drive in it. Oh, yes. And this logo, I don't know if it really ever caught on or not, but when we were opening up, and we were going to have a sign out front, we got into a discussion of what should be on the sign out front, and I said it should be either the Commodore logo or the Amiga logo, as big as possible. The name of our store is irrelevant. This is the thing that people, when they're traveling along, maybe between 30 and 40 miles an hour, it catches their eye. Huh? I used an example of like a Ford dealership. Out front, they have a huge sign that has the big Ford. On the roof of the dealership, farther back, it might say, you know, Joe Blow's Ford, or whatever. The whole thing about the sign, way out, it should be as big as possible. Now, if you don't want to use the logo, fine. Use the name of our store. Put it big. Now, I was dealing with people who, well, they really thought that they were smart. And that's a dangerous thing when you're dealing with people who think that they're smart. There is. So, I just left it to them. I told them, look, whatever it is, one thing big. And so, of course, what happened? They decided, oh, no, we'll compromise. So, the other thing I said is, if you're going to do the Amiga thing, make sure it's the logo that everybody knows, not this thing. This never appeared on the machine that I know of. This was some newfangled thing that somebody somewhere came up with in marketing and said, yeah, this would be really great. I don't understand it. But anyway, so what did they do? They compromised, which sometimes compromise is a beautiful thing. But this was not one of those times. So they put the name of the store, and they put this Amiga logo, both too small to really catch anybody's attention, to which when I saw it, I just shook my head and said, oh. Right then I knew we were doomed. Mind you, there were economic reasons at the time as well. But anyway, still, there's a time to be decisively one way or another. Make a decision. anyway, we carried on with our sign that was foolish. Just foolish. That's all it was. It was just foolish. Anyway, I was in the basement, and indeed I did find my authorized Amiga sign, which has never been used. So, looking at it, actually, okay. Looking at, there's a tiny pinhole in it, which probably means that it was stuck to the wall somewhere. It's almost perfect. There's a little mark here. I don't know why, but anyway. Yes. I suspect, it's just made out of cardboard. Probably not meant to last. So I suspect sooner or later I will sell this and pass it on to somebody for their Amiga cave, man cave, museum, whatever. I don't know how many of these were made. I don't know how many survived. But here's one. Here is one. So as you may have noticed, my efforts to tidy up and clear this off have not gone well. But they will go well. They just haven't gone well as of yet. They will. Anyway, what I am about to do, or try to do with all this stuff here, is I found a box. I did. And in that box were a number of things. So let me just reach down. Maybe we'll start with something here. Oh, yes. From batteries included, a BusCard 2. This was quite the interface. It was. There were a number of similar interfaces, and the whole thing was, why should somebody buy a Commodore 64 and buy a 1541 when they have a beautiful 4040 or an 8050 or other such drive right ready that they could use? So a lot of people came up with these interfaces. This one had a number of things on it. It did. It had, this is an IEEE port. This is a parallel port that could go to a printer. This would let you still stick another cartridge in. There was a little wire required because it needed something to do with memory management, I think. It needed something. So basically it was a little clip, little plug, little fine. And batteries included made good stuff. It's funny, the competition, which I don't believe I have in here, which was the C-LINK, was a lot smaller and a lot tidier and a lot, more compact. But it also didn't give you another cartridge port, and it didn't give you this parallel port for a printer. It didn't, and it also didn't have dip switches. The dip switch is on the top so you can decide things about devices, ieee, serial, and other such. Oh, look at that for the printer. Parallel with I guess an interface, serial or IEEE. Oh, cool. Anyway, this is just one of the things I found in this box, and I believe, look at that, a manual for BusCard 2. I don't know what the difference between the BusCard 2 excuse me, and the BusCard 1 was, but there must have been something. There must have been. I have found here, actually there was a bunch of manuals here, disc jackets. What do we have here? BusCard 2. A manual for the C-LINK. It, by the way, at least the first versions, did not have any such wire requirement inside. Did not. So there is a manual. And there, I remember seeing this. This was the ad that would appear in places to tell people how wonderful these were and what you could do with them. And they were. They were. They were quite the thing. 185 Canadian, 149 US. Also available for the Vic-20, of which I have one, but it doesn't work. Hang on, let's see what else. Oh, here's another manual for a C-Link, I think an earlier version. And the manual was written by Gerald Oil Gold. He was very active in TPUG. Oh, BusCard 2. BusCard 2. Ah. This, let me just see. Oh, those are just things. Here is a manual for what's called a BI80, which is a batteries included 80-column adapter for the Commodore 64. Can you imagine how wonderful it would be to have something such as this? I was actually wondering, like, how does one activate this? And and it also had Basic 4. Turning Basic 4. I don't know. I will have to investigate this. If only somewhere in this box I would be able to find a BI80 80-column adapter with the original cables involved. Made in Canada. Produced by Batteries Included. Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I do need to look into how to make this go. I do. As I look down into the box, I see another thing here. This too is an IEEE interface. I don't remember using this much, but I know I had it, and I imagine I have tested it. I don't know. It's been many years. So this, where are my glasses? Dams Office Equipment Limited. From, oh, this too is a Canadian creation. Huh. So basically, similar to a BusCard 2 in that you have another cartridge port here, and then you have a box that contains all the goodies, and the IEEE port comes out the back. I will, once again, all these things will have to be, wait just a second. I found the box, I did not look into it very deeply. I just said, oh yeah, that's the box. Joy of joys. Here is a C-Link. Oh my. Joy of joys. My golly. Here's a C-Link too. Somewhere I knew I had, things. I just didn't know I had these things. This C-Link did have, I don't know if you probably can't see it from there. This one was the first C-Link. This one is the C-Link 2, which I'm not that familiar with, but it did have a little prong here, and that too meant that you had to somehow affix a wire inside. It also has, an additional port out the side. I'm assuming that's for a printer, but I would have to look in the manual to see what that is. Oh my, what is this? Okay. This is called an RTC Multi-Link IEEE Centronics module, Unionville, Ontario, Canada. Interesting. Looks very similar in many respects to the C-Link. And it says RTC on it. Once again, something, I'm sure I picked up at some point and maybe have tested and maybe have used, but not extensively. Oh my. Yes, discs. What do we have? Epics, the games, disc A. Mac to C64. A Commodore disc jacket. How beautiful. What is this? It's a disc. Okay. It's a disc from public. Oh, what happened there? Something just flew off there. Anyway, what are these? I don't know what they are. I will have to look. Oh, there's a disc from CLINK. It's funny, I remember hearing the late, great Sid Bolton talk about he loved the CLINK people. He didn't necessarily like CLINK or AOL or whatever all those things were, but he sure liked the fact that they gave out free discs. And that was always handy, because discs were expensive. Chip Art Graphics, 100 new pictures for your print shop library. Do these work? I do not know. Oh, sorry, I'm just looking way down into the box. Way down deep. Let's see if I can get this. Some people had various ways of protecting their programs. This is a manager key. This was used, it went in the cassette port, and, oh, it actually says from Commodore. And if you wanted to, like, the manager was a database, obviously, well, not obviously, but it was a database. Oh, look, another Commodore disc jacket. And if you wanted to actually make use of the program, you needed the manager key. I'm not sure if, like, this was to protect, well, certainly to protect people from copying, because you had needed this to run it. But also, I guess if you were in an office, you didn't want anybody to get into your data. I remember seeing lots of people, way back in the day, with these just stuck with their car keys. I do. So, as I dig further, oh my, another BI80. Another BI80. This I'm not sure of, but it could be, possibly, although I think I have another one of these maybe. This could be the interface that goes between the Commodore 64 and a lieutenant colonel. I will have to look into this. I'm running out of space on this desk, which is nothing new. Yeah, looking further into here, a BusCard 2. A BusCard 2. This looks like a BusCard 2, I think. Oh, wait, yep, look at this. Okay, BusCard 2 from the inside. Because here is at least part of the case. But I don't see the bottom part. But that would go over there. It would. Well, you know, things happen over a great many years. Oh, look. It's another BusCard 2. Aha! And here is a BusCard. Not 2. This is the original version, which looks similar. But different. There must have been a good reason. But I guess that's why, you put something out, you think it's perfect, and then you find out maybe you could make some changes and make it better. Now, what is this? This is a CSI Model 464 to ieee interface. Ah, this is different in that, okay, it has its own power supply. You don't actually hook it up directly to the computer through the cartridge port. It plugs in through the serial port, which I wonder, that must affect speed somehow. There's a switch on here, so you can have the serial off, the ieee off, or in the middle, both active. So, it looks like you would have something from the computer going in, and then going out, and then letting you do things. What else? Oh, here's a cardboard insert. That's funny, I was just looking at, I think online somebody thought maybe this would help them align their disk drive. I'm not so sure. Here's something. Wow. So this is a game port expander with a switch and a reset. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No other ones hidden. Yes, this would make life easier if you were a gamer and you had, say, 5 games that you like playing. You would not have to be wrestling them in and out of the port and wearing out the port and wearing out the cartridge. It's pretty robust too. Once again, no extra power supply required. The last, I'm just going to put this back in here because I don't want it to fall. The last things in here are a bunch of, I'm going to put this box in again, keys made by batteries included paperclip 64, paperclip, paperclip 2. The idea behind these was that unless you had, this was their protection, CalKit, that unless you had SpellPack, one of these things in, the program wouldn't work. There were also, of course, people who would, I think using paddles, you could figure out what the reading was supposed to be and kind of dummy up the paddle thing. Anyway, paperclip, SpellPack, what's this? The Consultant. And these ones, like this one really, it's green. And I'm not sure what it is, and there's another little one here. And it doesn't say anything on it. It's gray. I don't remember what these are for, but they would be for something. Funny story though, using these key things, which I'm going to put back down in here. We're not using, but paperclip, of course, was a beautiful thing, and it came out with, they had this thing called SpellPack, so they made another one of these things that went in the other port. There. And it wasn't until they went to go actually try them after they made a whole bunch that they realized that the things were too wide to sit next to each other. Not by much, just a little bit. And if you look at this, and you can't see it very well here, but if you look at here, they had to take each one of the original SpellPack keys and basically run a saw or a sanding thing or something down the side. And it's really, it might just be a millimeter. But really, they wouldn't fit otherwise. So that's why these things look the way they do. This, hang on, that's a paper clip too. This is probably more what these would sit next to each other. They look the same. And for spell pack you needed one, for paperclip you needed the other, but they wouldn't fit unless they had, they didn't expect you to do this. They did this at the factory in Toronto after they realized they'd screwed up. And I guess after that they did something different, because I can't imagine they just kept on doing that forever. I imagine they did something. So, a box of interfaces, including an original BusCard. I didn't see a manual for an original BusCard, I don't think. I wonder what happens if you plug a BusCard into a BusCard, and then you could do more of them. So let me just do a count. So there's a BusCard, and a BusCard, and a BusCard, and a BusCard, and a BusCard. And then this funny interface that I'm not counting. Okay, what are these things? BI80, 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 documentation, and another BusCard, and a manual. So what have I got here? I'm trying to be careful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 BusCards and one that's open. And it does seem to have an empty socket. I don't know if that's good or normal, or if you could do other things. Excuse me while I just put these very carefully back in the box. Oh. Documentation. Here's a refreshing. This is why I must have got this somewhere later on, like BusCard BI80, and it says on it sold as is. Maybe that's because the manual is yucky, or who knows. So in terms of the BI80, oh yes, mysterious interface. I think maybe Lieutenant Colonel, but I think I have another one of those. So I don't know. I mean, I've accumulated things over the years. So it looks like maybe 3 BI80s, one with the original cables, strange and assorted discs, and then these other interfaces. That RTC multi-link ink. That's very strange. And then a C-Link, and you know what, the C-Link, this was magic. I mean, when we ran the bulletin boards, this is what made life possible, really. Because running a bulletin board off the serial drives, well, first of all, the capacity was not very big on the 1541 and others. And when you wanted to run a bulletin board on a 9090, or have it at least as an option, you had to have something. And this, it was really neat, it was really compact. It was, yes, it was beautiful. Anyway, this one, I really don't remember ever using this, but I will try it out at some point. And then, the manager key, another relic from the past. It is. I'm suspecting, little by little, yes, I will probably sell all of these, including the Commodore Amiga authorized dealer sign. And you know, I could keep this, it would be fine. But I still am tortured that when the signs went up outside the store, it had this logo, which I also said, whatever you do, don't. Oh, well, it's the newest logo. We want the newest one. The one that's never going to be used again and nobody knows what it means. That's what we want. Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah. Anyway, so stay tuned. I will do some testing. I will tidy up this area. You don't believe me, do you? And I will carry on. Carrying on. Yes, I shall. By the way, in an earlier video I did test this 1541, and it does, in fact, it started off not working, but then I suspect it was just a little grunge on the head or something. Alright. Well, thank you for being here to look at all the interfaces and things. The Commodore 64 was a great base of operations. Many people have made many interfaces to hook many things that were maybe never intended to be hooked up, but that was part of the joy of the day. The latest interface that would let you use something that already existed. Not that Commodore never made a good printer, officially, under their own name, but they didn't. The only one, I think, that was even close to being reasonable in terms of, like the 1525, oh golly, and the MPS 801, they printed. They did. That's all I have to say about that. There was 1526 and the MPS 802 were basically the same printer. One was IEEE, one was serial. They had a much nicer character set, and also I think what helped is the pins were more square. But really, like other companies made much better printers. It boggled my mind one time. There was a company that came out with an imitation MPS 801. Comrex. It was a Comrex 220. It was identical. I thought, why would you waste your time making a bad printer? My favorite, I think, over the years of printers that was not Commodore, I think it was a Panasonic. Boy, it had nice characters. Beautiful characters. Mind you, the Star Micronics were also not a bad option. And they did start making them with just the Commodore interface, which was good. Anyway, thanks for being here. Stay in touch, stay healthy, and stay tuned. Bye for now. Say goodbye, Hagrid. He's not talking. But he has his arms up because he's really pleased we found this box of interfaces. I'm still looking for more treasures in the basement, including, most importantly, I have a soldering iron, a desoldering iron, that lets you take out chips lickety-split. Somewhere I have it. I just don't know where. But I will find it. So, once again, bye for now.